There's a new moon king in the solar system, and it's not Jupiter. Hello Kainatis, I'm Roshaan and this is Kainaati News. Scientists have just discovered 128 new moons of Saturn. This surpasses Jupiter by a long shot. Now Saturn has a total of 274 moons. That is unprecedented. That's amazing. Now, scientists actually used a telescope on Earth to make this discovery. The telescope is located in Hawaii on one of the islands called Mauna Kea. And Mauna Kea itself is a big mountain. It's one of the tallest mountains on Earth. The telescope that they use is a big reflector telescope that's co-operated by Canada, France, and Hawaii. It's called the CFHT, the Canada, France, Hawaii telescope. They looked at and around Saturn for about 3 months in 2023, and they discovered these 128 small, irregular moons of Saturn. Now, I must put some emphasis on this particular fact. These moons are not big and round. They're small and irregular. In fact, they're nothing like Titan, Enceladus, Tethys, or Rhea. These are much more like pieces of rocks, pieces of large asteroids. In fact, they might as well be asteroids. Turns out that when scientists studied these new moons, they saw that these do not orbit the same way as these larger, rounder moons of Saturn. So that tells them something. It tells them that these probably formed after Saturn, a long time after Saturn. In fact, these are a relatively recent formation. Scientists think that these new moons were probably formed about 100 million years ago. And that's a pretty long time for us, but in cosmic terms, in the universe's perspective, that's pretty recent. Now, since these were formed relatively recently, scientists think that they might be the result of some sort of a collision between a comet and maybe a pre-existing moon of Saturn. Can you imagine what it would have looked like in the sky when a comet would have collided with one of the moons of Saturn, destroying it into pieces, and those pieces floating around orbiting Saturn are now being discovered as moons of Saturn. Now, when I was a kid, there was a very simple question and I had a very simple answer. Which planet of the solar system had the most number of moons? And the answer was always Jupiter. But that's no longer true. The answer now is Saturn. And scientists think that Jupiter may not ever get to 274, this number that Saturn now has. So I think Jupiter might never be the moon king of the solar system ever again. So I hope you liked this episode of Kainaati News. Until next time, why don't you hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, and let's see if Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune, if they ever catch up to Saturn, the new moon king of the solar system.